Abby, question for you. How did you become so jacked and rich and cool and funny? Good question. The reason why that is because I finished this little mental toughness program called 75 Hard. If you don't know what 75 Hard is, it is a program. It is not a challenge. It's a mental toughness program designed to build yourself up to become mentally strong. And in the process of doing it, you become more jacked and a bunch of cool things happen in your life. And there's kind of a ripple effect throughout everything that you do. First, I'm going to explain what 75 Hard is, and then I'm going to tell you about my experience with it. So 75 Hard mental toughness program, basically what you got to do. I'm sure other people, you've heard other people talk about it, but they're probably a fucking pussy and didn't even do it right. So what it is every day you have a set of tasks that you have to complete, and you have to complete them flawlessly for 75 days straight. If you miss anything on any task in any shape or form, even a little bit, day one. All right. 1 minute short of your workout, day one. Everything's day one. All right. This is what you got to do. 2 45-minute workouts a day. They have to be separated. They can't be together. Two 45-minute workouts a day. One of the workouts has to be outdoors, despite the weather, despite everything. Take a progress picture. Pretty easy. 10 pages of reading. Has to be like personal development or, something that's going to improve your life. Can't be like fantasy bullshit. Drink 1 gallon of water. Follow a diet with no exceptions. You eat a chocolate chip, day one. Gummy bear, day one. Whatever your diet is, you can just choose your diet, no cheat meals or alcohol. That one was pretty easy for me, and that's it. It's it's not insane, but doing every single one of those things for 75 days straight, you face a lot of challenges throughout doing it, and by overcoming those challenges, it sort of changes you as a person. Also, if you're like a Navy SEAL, like that's way harder too. This isn't like some fucking Navy SEAL shit. It's like pretty fucking not that complicated. So I'm gonna explain these in a little more depth, but first I'm gonna tell you about my experience with it. I didn't know anything about it. I was actually here at the studio. My buddy Jack Jelinski came here, and he had this intensity about him that I thought was very impressive. I've just been around a lot of people. I can just tell when someone's like legit tapped into something awesome, and I can tell when someone's like full of shit. And he was describing the intensity of his workouts and describing the benefits of the program, and I was like, well, that sounds fucking cool. So I made a note of it. A few months later, I was going through a stressful period in my life. Like, I wasn't like, everything was fine, but it was just like, I just felt a little overwhelmed by life because I was trying to do so many things. It was a new business, dealing with the hiccups of that. I was just dealing with just normal, regular life shit, and I felt a little overwhelmed by it. And sometimes when people are feeling overwhelmed by life, they'll take a self-care route, but that's like the self-care route looks like bubble baths and binge eating and drinking and stuff. I don't drink, and I knew that if I took that self-care route, that would make me temporarily feel good, but I wanted like a solution to the stress that I was feeling on a day-to-day. So instead, I decided to go the opposite route and go fucking head first into that shit, right? So I texted Jack and I was like, hey, what was that program that you were doing? That sounded pretty cool. He didn't explain anything. He just texted me a screenshot of what the rules were. And I didn't inquire anything of it. I was just like, okay, I'm going to do this. So I started doing it, and I didn't really fully understand it. So one thing I did, which is a common mistake, is I added a bunch of extra shit on top of it immediately before even doing it. And so I was like, oh, this is dope. Well, if I'm going to do this, I'm also going to journal every day. I'm also going to take cold showers every day. I'm also not going to jerk off. I'm also not going to do this. And I made it too daunting when already the list is hard enough. Like, you know what I mean? First, complete 75 hard. And then if that wasn't hard enough, do it again, add all the extra shit, but just do it once first. Don't confuse it. So I was doing all that shit, and by day 9, I felt pretty fucking good. And then I just forgot to journal, which wasn't even part of the original list. And it was enough to kind of, I don't know, I fell off. And then it's one of those things where if you fall off, it was hard to get back on. And then I couldn't quite pick it back up. But then a couple months later, I actually came across the podcast by the guy who created the program. It's called Real AF by Andy Frisella. And in the podcast, there's an episode, I think it was episode 218. I'm going to link it in the description, where he explains in full depth what 75 Hard is all about, and he does a much better job than me in this episode. But so I started listening to that podcast, and he explained it in more detail. He explained the benefits. He explained the benefits of each step, and it made it very clear. I got a better understanding of the program, the benefits of the program, and why you do it. I have friends that try 75 medium, or 75 almost hard, where they're like, yeah, I'll do this, and I'm not going to do this. I'm telling you right now, if you do 99.9% of the program and you don't do it to perfection, you reap 0% of the benefits. That's why it's so crazy and so intense. You have to do it 100% perfect in order to reap the benefits. The entire thing is all about paying attention to detail and doing it perfectly. That's where all the magic happens. It was great for me to understand that, because one of the things that was causing me the most stress in my life is I wasn't paying attention to detail, and a lot of little things in my life, and those little details were adding up and causing me a lot of stress. And so I actively decided I'm going to do this perfectly, and by doing this perfectly, I'm going to work on the muscle, whatever part of my brain that causes you to pay attention to detail, I'm going to work on that. And that is one of the most valuable skills that somebody can have. So anyways, I listened to the podcast. I'm like, that sounds fucking good. And I decided to take it very seriously. And the crazy thing is even though you're doing 2 45 minutes workouts away, one thing I learned very quickly is when you're doing that, you somehow magically have more time than before when you started, because you're so fucking purpose driven. Before, I wasn't accounting for any of my hours, and now I'm accounting for all of my hours. Like, I had to plan my days in advance. I would know that, oh, I'm traveling tomorrow. Okay, that means I have to wake up 2 hours early so I can get the run in, so I can do this. And then when I land, where am I going to go? I'll check, like, oh, I have plans tonight. I have a birthday I got to attend. Okay, I'm going to make sure that every hour is accounted for, so you really max out all the hours in the day. Now I instantly value my time, and so all my other work is getting done better and faster than all my other shit. First 10 days are awesome. I'm fired up, killing it, doing good, drinking a gallon of water a day. If you're drinking a gallon of water, I mean, this is just my own personal opinion. I don't like tap water because I'm a conspiracy theorist, and I don't like little plastic bottles of water either, because I don't know, I think that shit sits in warehouses and sits in the sun and just fucking bleeds chemicals into your water. I like drink Liquid Death or Mountain Valley spring water, but that's just a preference. 2 workouts a day. What I was doing for my 2 workouts a day, my good friend and somebody who I look up to a lot, named Joe Manganiello, one of the most jack dudes fucking ever, wrote a great book called Evolution. So I was doing his workout program. It was really good, 3-day split, and you do that twice a week. And then Sundays I would just do 2 cardios. So I would lift weights during the day, and then I would do cardio. I would do 45 minutes of cardio. I live right across the street from a hike, so I would just go do this 45-minute hike every day, or I'd just jog laps around the block. One of the cool things is, and when you have to get your workouts in, you get your workouts in. Like, sometimes I got a meeting, and then there's like an hour break, and I know that this is going to be my only hour, and if I don't work out now, I'm going to fail the program, so I have to work out right now. I would go hop in my car, change my pants in my car, and then just get out and just jog laps around the block for 45 minutes straight, and then I'd be done, and then that would be my outdoor workout. Some days I'd space out, and then I'd have to work out at the end of the night. That fucking sucked when you're tired as fuck. There was one night I had to work out, not one actually, there was a few nights I had to work out from at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. or from 1 to 2, and it was so fucking brutal. Felt pretty cool to be seen, out there doing cardio at 1 a.m. The diet that I chose was just intermittent fasting. I was doing an 8-16 split, just simple, straight 8-16 split. And if I ate 1 minute too early or too late, I'd have to start over. But that was the easiest one to stick to, that I knew I could stick to flawlessly. And then on top of that, you also have to eat clean, right? And so there wasn't a very strict diet, but no bread, no junk food, no sugar. So if I was to eat a bite of candy or a pancake or something, I'd have to start from day one. So it's intermittent fasting plus, I don't know, kind of like a slow carb diet mixed with that. Plus, I'm vegetarian since my whole life, and so that's also part of it. But yeah, intermittent fasting is like the make or break, and then eating clean, and then whatever. No cheat meals or alcohol. Obviously, that's obvious. You're sticking to a diet, so you can't have a cheat meal. And no alcohol. I mean, I've been sober forever, so that was the easiest part. That wasn't even a challenge for me. And then taking a progress picture, that's the one that fucked me, dude. I fucked me on day 21. I forgot to take a progress picture and I had to fucking restart. It was the most it's the most frustrating thing. I'm telling you guys, this is everybody who does the program, they forget to take a progress picture and then they got to fucking restart, and it happens so often just because it's like not paying attention to detail, you know, and then you got to fucking restart. So I had to restart on day 21, and then another time I had to restart on day 35 for not taking a picture. That fucking sucked. And then I had to restart on day 29 because I fucked up and I got sick, and then I tried pushing through and then I couldn't do it. So I'm like 3 months in now, still fucking restarting. Oh, and then I had to restart another time because I forgot I only read 8 pages instead of 10. Because I was reading 8 pages and then somebody distracted me and I thought I finished it. And then the next day when I went to go to my book to read my pages, I realized only 8 pages were finished from the day before. And I was so fucking pissed about that. So anyways, start. And then my final attempt, I was just like, nothing on fucking earth is going to make me restart. No travel, no sickness, no fucking nothing. So I fucking just went after it. When I got to like day 40, that was the furthest I had gotten in the program. And once I hit that point, I'm like, if I can do day 40, I can do 75. Like nothing is fucking stopping me. Nothing is making me restart again. I don't have it in me to fucking restart again. I'm just fucking going. And man, there were some challenges along the way. I remember I was traveling. I remember one time I was staying in a cabin in the woods in the middle of fucking nowhere. So I just had to just jog, do 2 45-minute jogs in a day. One, you know, and if you can do a power walk for 45 minutes. I think there was 2 times out of the 75 days where I just did a 45-minute power walk. You know, you got to be outside of your comfort zone for 45 minutes, you know? And then by day 50, it's kind of on autopilot by that point. You're kind of just not even thinking about it anymore. But that's when you got to be careful because you're just so used to it and it's kind of chill and you're just like, yeah, fuck it. This is easy. And so you kind of stop stressing about it, and you got to maintain a little bit of stress. Otherwise you're going to space out on some shit. And then like day 60 to 75 is like that's a good stretch. You know that you're fucking there. And you know you've done it right by when you finish 75 days. Andy Frisella, the guy who created it, he talks about this, about how like if you're the type of person that does the 75 days and then you ate a cake, did it wrong. You missed the whole fucking point. Because when I finished, I didn't want to have some celebration meal. I think I wanted to like, I think I reluctantly had like a scoop of ice cream or something, and I was just like, this is cool, but like I don't know, like it kind of, the crazy thing is I've always, you know, done some sort of working out thing with like a cheat meal or something like that. And when I do the cheat meal, I've always kind of like binge ate, but I never went back to like binge eating, you know, like my eating, there was never like a point where I would feel like shit. And the other cool thing about this is even though it's probably been like close to a year since I last successfully completed 75 hard, the effects of it are almost permanent. Like I still work out every day. I don't even think about it. I just go. It's so ingrained and such a part of me that like it just changes. You know, a lot of people say like 21 days to form a habit or break a habit or some shit. Fuck that. You need a lot more than 21 days. You need to be going at something over and over and over again for 75 days, 90 days, longer than 21 days. You can't do shit in 21 days. You want to break a habit with like eating, go 75 days without eating. Are you addicted to junk food? Go 75 days without eating junk food. Your body doesn't even know, just forgets how that shit is, you know? I remember I completed it. I look way fucking better. This is before, this is after, this is somewhere in the middle. I felt kind of emotional when I completed it. I was like, damn, I fucking finally did it. And it was cool. Like I remember, you know, people would say like if I had to restart, because like taking a photo, people would go, why? I would just keep going. Like no one's going to know. I'm like, fucking, I'm going to know, you idiot. That's the whole point. This whole point is to build self-esteem. When I finished it, I swear to God, my self-esteem was through the fucking roof and it stayed pretty fucking high since finishing it. It makes me feel like one of the reasons why people are insecure, especially when they're thinking about their goals, is they don't trust themselves. And when I finished that, I developed so much trust in myself. I could trust myself. I could tell myself like, oh, now I'm going to do this next thing. And I could confidently I could confidently tell myself I'm going to do something because I have this proven track record of finishing the things I want to do. So I told myself, I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna jump start my business to this point. And I'm like, well, yeah, I can obviously do that. It's like by doing 75 hard, you've built this like internal fucking machine gun that you could point in any direction and just fucking blast off. It's like this, you sharpen this, you turn your mind into this weapon, and anywhere you point it, you fucking, you manifest shit. You steamroll the universe, and the universe rewards you. And I felt like the universe rewarded me in the most bizarre ways. Like when I started on my first day one, first attempt, I drove a shitty fucking Honda Civic. And when I finished it, now I got a cool car. Everything, my comedy got better. And obviously, like, I'm not perfect. Like, I'm always trying to work hard and improve. And I think discipline is a perishable skill. And that's my experience with 75 Hard. Check out Andy Frisella's explanation of it. He does a better job, and it's his program. He came up with that shit. I'm just kind of like echoing my experience with it. I think you guys would like it too. Do it perfectly. You'll get the benefits of it. If you have to restart, just do it. Trust me, shit's a game changer. I've done lots of self-improvement, personal development shit. This is one of the most transformational things we've ever done. Quit being a fucking bitch. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. More episodes coming this week.